Okay, I'm not playing any background music for the guests.
What?
I'm not playing any background music for the guests.
What about for?
Yeah, I have no friend.
What about
Power Rangers?
Oh yeah. I just imagine.
Welcome to our show today. We'll be talking about the Civil War, and since it's the Oprah show, we will be showing both the Union side and the Confederacy side of this Civil War. And on our first topic today is the military draft. We will be playing a very short clip showing the Confederacy side.
All the bad stuff. We have to pass that OSHA Act of 1862 to draft men. And now we have 1 million men conscripted.
Now let's introduce our very first guest, Joseph Watson, a young Confederate young. Now Joseph, tell me, why was it that you joined this war?
Well, I joined because the Confederate Congress imposed this thing called the necessary military draft. In the Confederacy, new laws were made so that all young ones had to have at least 3 years of service. But them rich folks are trying to make us poor men fight their war. The rich don't have to fight in the war since if you own 20 slaves, you don't have to do military service, or you can just hire a substitute. I was bankrupt because my plantation weren't doing so well, so I decided to be a substitute for a rich plantation owner in order to get me some money. Instead, I lost my arm.
How terrible! Then how are the other white poor men who are getting bankrupt finding money during this war?
That's the thing. We so poor that men are turning to robbing and raiding storehouses to seize goods. And those who want to keep their money, well, the army just comes in and takes it all.
So then, would you say this war is beneficial to all?
No, ma'am. Our President Davis told us that by the Union winning, we was gonna be downgraded into the status of them slaves. But I hear the Union is giving free land to the farmers up there.
Oh, indeed. That must have been a terrible experience.
Well, I ain't the worst of them. My brother was conscripted into the military after President Davis ignored them writs of them habeas corpus and refused to release conscripted men. What does this war come down to that our own president's denying the rights I have?
I see. Now, Joseph, how are the conditions in battle?
They were terrible, men's limbs being chopped off, here and there. My own wife, Scarlett, don't even look at me no more because of my limp arm.
Well, thank you for your time and opinion, Joseph. You can leave now. So good. Settle down. As you can see, the Civil War has taken a toll on all of us. Poor yeoman farmers like Joseph, as well as the women, have split the country. Now here are 2 videos on the effects of both Union and Confederate women.
I'm Nurse Lovejoy, and I work in the Army in the state. Along with other nurses. Patriotism with many of our like people who lost family members to join the Union cause, helping our soldiers on the road to recovery. Many women also are helping out in other ways, working in the postal service and industry, making sure that our country runs smoothly on the home front. If there's any good that's come out of all this blood and carnage and loss, it's that women now have better jobs in all kinds of industries.
Yay for women! Now, this is the next video, is the Confederacy side of this war. Goodness. It seems like the cult of domesticity has turned into the cult of mourning. Stores are beginning to sell mourning clothes among upper and middle classes to mourn the loss of their husbands. However, there are some families that have managed to benefit from this war. Let's welcome the wife of the successful businessman who took his chance in the meatpacking industry, Emma Watson.
Why, good evening, Miss Winfrey. I just want to say it's quite an honor to meet you. And the girls at home all adore your show.
Well, thank you. I mean, I am Oprah Winfrey. Okay, now I just wanted to ask, how has the war affected your family at home? Because the women we have all previously seen have been drastically affected.
I do feel sorry for those other women, but since the main form of food for soldiers is meat and pork, and since my husband is a meat packer, this war has allowed my husband and I to expand our business and gain riches we've never experienced. But we do our part to try and help everyone who is less fortunate than us.
Now, how is that, Miss Watson?
Well, we pay our tariffs for the war effort, and our business itself helps the union and helps win our war.
Well, thank you so much, Mrs. Watson. Woo! Okay. Now, next, we have...
I'll see you later.
Now, what a pleasant surprise. Okay. Where were we? Anyways, now that we've discussed the joys and perils the Civil War has brought upon us, but this war was not only affected the citizens, but as the immigrants as well. Now this video will show the immigrant side on this Civil War.
Люди, кто вы такие? Кто такая его любовь к черным людям нас побеждает. Действительно так, который пришел в 863 году, он нас заставляет. Но это война не наша, это война американцев. И еще что хуже, что это если выиграет Север войну, тогда черные будут свободны. И возьмут они наши работы. Я и так еле-еле проживаю. Но если это случится, я умру. Германские и ирландские иммигранты очень злые. Они ходят и поджигают дома и бунтовают. Я сейчас тоже с ними пойду, и мы подожжем святую больницу сирот. Так что идите нафиг отсюда.
Oh my goodness. How sentimental was that video? Okay. Now, although we have to talk about the social consequences of the war, we're going to invite an economic strategist, Chris Arrowhead, to inform us about the economies of both the Union and the Confederacy.
Thank you for having me, Oprah.
Now, can you please explain from an unbiased point of view the advantages of the Union economy as opposed to the Confederacy?
Well, you see, the Union has 2/3 of the nation's workforce, 2/3 of the railroads, and accounts for almost 90% of the industrial output. The North also has the pre-existing factories that mass-produce weaponry, which becomes a major advantage during the war.
Oh my goodness. Now, wow, how can the Confederacy stand up to such powerful economy?
Although the Union has a distinct advantage over the Confederacy, the South is far from weak. It has the Tredegar Iron Works, a very important manufacturing armory, 9 million people that can be used for the military, and enslaved African Americans that can assist with the war efforts by producing food for the army and corn for exports. The Confederacy also uses King Cotton to its advantage.
King Cotton, we all know that, right? Am I right? Am I right?
In many ways, ranging from making cotton goods, just blankets, and also using cotton as a diplomatic tool to help borrow money from foreign countries. And of course, with such international ties, more weapons can be purchased.
Wow, how indeed. Now, from King Cotton herself, we have a cashmere scarf! Now, Chris, you can take this to your wife during this war.
All right,
And
thanks.
it will probably bring a smile to her face.
Yeah.
You don't know. It's from Oprah. Remember to tell her that, okay?
I will.
Now, next is our special guest. As we all probably know, he is the man who has broken the straw. He is the straw that broke the camel's back. Let's welcome Abraham Lincoln! Mr. President, can I please just say how honored it is to meet you?
Yes, you can.
The President knows my name. Well, Mr. President, how are you this evening out on the field between the Union and the Confederacy?
Well, although the South has King Cotton and large armies, I believe the Union has a superior industrial output, an economy which allows us to create advanced machinery. In addition, our recent adoption of Henry Clay's program for a nationally financed transportation system has bolstered the Union's ability to fight a long war, since the railroads have brought in an abundance of riches.
Oh, indeed, these railroads have taken my view of the countryside. I understand. Now, how did you pay off the increased war costs?
Well, I urged the government to increase tariffs on alcohol and tobacco, and impose direct taxes on business corporations, large inheritances, and the incomes of wealthy citizens. Also, I passed the National Banking Acts of 1863 and 1864 to force banks to buy war bonds.
You also enacted the Legal Tender Act of 1862, which, if I refresh your memory, authorized $150 million in paper currency, otherwise known as greenbacks, in order to pay the remaining 15% of the war costs. Am I right?
Yes. However, the greenbacks were issued in a relatively limited amount. Therefore, paper currency only lost a small part of its face value.
Oh, I understand now. Isn't it true that you suspended habeas corpus and imprisoned about 15,000 people without trial, those who resisted the draft?
Yes, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
Oh, now, lastly, how did you think you compare to Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy Army?
I believe I am a better leader in terms of economy, since the Confederate economy is slowly inflating due to the extensive use of paper money.
Now, thank you once again, Abraham.